I'm Theo. Who are the Outlourdes?
I am Deb. I am the lead vocalist and the drummer.
I'm Mike. I play bass and do backup vocals.
And Jamie isn't with us, but he's still with us, but he's not with us tonight. He's our guitarist and hype man.
He died on the way back to the studio.
He didn't make it to rehearsal tonight. We are in our studio right now, actually.
Welcome to the Nausea River podcast. I'm Theo Morgan, and unfortunately, you thought you could hand me the aux cord, and I'd just stick to Tears for Fears like I promised I would. We're heading down 495, and Southern Mass is a crazy place, so this is the Outlourdes. And by playing them at the beginning, I don't have to explain what sludge metal is, right? I don't have to say the Melvins but more extreme and screamy, so my dad has a starting point. It's an offshoot of doom metal, hardcore punk, grunge, and other ingredients that initially took off in the Deep South. We might not have a bayou, but we have Hockomock Swamp, and that's almost as scary. And so that's where the story of the Outlourdes begins. Dark and aggressive music, rooted in misanthropy and the monsters of southern Massachusetts that I knew nothing about. Deb Dyer and Mike McCormick were kind enough to enlighten me, though. If you're listening to this day of, I timed it so that's just in time to check out the Outlourdes' latest album, Humanity is Killing Us All, linked in the description. We've had some behind-the-scenes hiccups, and if you were expecting a different episode, well, it's in the works, and or life's unfair. But I hope you enjoy. All right, Everyone makes note, like, it's so great how Deb can do the vocals and drum at the same time. Maybe that's my first question. How?
So I've been singing since I came out of the womb, basically. Wasn't really encouraged or anything like that growing up, but I didn't actually do harsh vocals until our lineup changed. And once it did, it was like, I can either take on vocals or we can't move forward because our former guitarist was also the lead vocalist. So it was like pressure's on. And then I had like a couple months to figure out how to do it. And I just did because I had to. And now I've gotten a lot better at it. It's much easier than it was in the beginning. It used to be like, all right, when I write lyrics, I should probably try to make it during an easier drum part. But now we're trying to lean in more of like a dystopia kind of situation, some of our newer stuff. So it's like you have to be able, like for that style, you have to be able to like keep fills going with your vocals. So, but Mike's been doing more, I think, with backing vocals. So that's been helping out too.
Yep.
And does that only apply to live? Because, on the album, I thought, like, oh, this is all Deb.
Yeah, no, I'm doing just like usually chorus stuff.
Okay.
In the More Weight song, I say 1, 2, 3, 6, 6, 6.
Claim to fame.
And in Humanity is Killing Us All, we do the chorus in tandem, kind of with each other, like back and forth.
Okay.
We like echo each other, I guess you'd say.
Sorry for erasing your contributions.
Yeah, no, not at all. I kind of like it that way.
I think it's just like I keep telling myself, like, I can tell when it's a woman behind the mic, and to be honest, not really. But
when I found out that Arch Enemy had a female vocalist when I was younger, I was like, what? And then we saw them at
New England Metal Fest, probably in 2003.
Mine was blown. Yeah.
2003 or 2005.
Yeah, it was. I know that was like really common knowledge by the time I discovered Arch Enemy, because I think she was like the only example people could name of like a harsh female vocalist in 2008. Which is, I mean, that's untrue. There were totally other bands, but
barely, but yeah, they're like Sharon Crisis, I guess.
Yeah, my thought was Gallhammer from Japan. They were awesome. Right, all women.
And there's like some older power violence, like Scrotum Grinder, and a couple other like power violence bands that were pretty.
Or in the in the Doom on the Doom side of things, Thor's hammer.
Thor's hammer. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I probably if I didn't know if she wasn't on the album art, I wouldn't have been able to guess.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah. But like sometimes like I think that's a woman behind the growls because it sounds like a little thinner.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Yeah.
that's like it doesn't matter that much because metal's for everyone.
Yeah.
And like if I tried to growl, it would sound bad.
Well, I think our last show, people were asking Deborah if she was putting effects on her microphone, and
That
she was like, "No, no," and then she had to prove it to
that's
somebody.
insulting.
Yeah.
They made me growl at the merch table.
I feel like that happens a lot to people.
Yeah.
Just like in general, they want you to growl to make sure you're not cupping the mic.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. Well, you can't do that if you're drumming. You can't
Right.
cup the mic.
No.
No, I can't hold my diaphragm. I can't stand up.
Yeah. I was thinking more of like I asked that question because of like breath control because
Yeah.
drumming's really physical and it's not like you're doing constant blast beats, but it's still like a decent pace.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty weird. Like when we used to jam, I felt like I never really like, sweat that much. I don't know. I have it must be ingrained in me. It's in my DNA. I'm supposed to do this for however long.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we've been
Cool.
playing for a long time, just not playing live shows. We just played
Okay.
music forever.
All right. And that segs into the origins of the Outlards.
Yes. So me and Mike have been playing music together for 20 years. I met him when I was 18 and we used to jam with one of our friends, Costa, that's grew up with Mike. And we just like, when I say jam, not a jam band, but like, like 10-minute long punk rock songs, like
Yeah.
just like super basic, really long sessions of just playing music. And we just did that for a really long time. Then we met my sister's neighbor, Tom, in 2018. And that's when we started to take it a little more seriously, start like writing more structured music. He mentored us a lot in regards to that. And we would just hang out down here and every Thursday for like 5 years, just like hang out and have fun and do whatever we wanted. So our first EP and our first two albums were all stuff that the three of us written together. And most of it was just fucking around in the basement. And then we're like, oh, we should record. We have 20 songs now. We should. And I think, honestly, this is the original list behind us because we never took it off the wall. It's been here forever. We had these 20 songs. Like, all right, let's just record them all. And then I separated them by sound and released them where like we were recording on a Zoom R16, which is it has like a built-in AI.
Built-in DAW.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's like, yeah, it's like what we have now is an AI connected to the DAW, but this had like the plugins that you could add to it. Anyways, it had like a SD card. So we'd record everything here and then we'd pop out the SD card, pass it off to Tom, and he would record the vocals and the guitar, pass it back. And we just like did it kind of in this weird way. Which, yeah, I don't know. It was in the beginning, the
Yeah.
before four.
We were just having fun. We like all the drums were just mic'd up and not just mixed one way, and then we couldn't mix them again. Stuff like that.
We recorded it with the drums pre-mixed and it came out in one track. So like I had to get really creative with production because I had to like play around with the sound waves a lot, put in different filters and different plugins to like make the kick stand out more. So I learned a lot about production just doing it like that, doing it the ass backwards way. So yeah, so that was the beginning. And then Jamie, our guitarist, who everyone knows because he's been with us since we started playing out, he was in a project that I was in formerly that's on hiatus called Heavy Coven. And he was like, I want to be part of your project. I want to be part of the Outlards. And we wanted him to, of course. And
he was in Psycho Prophet as well, a thrash metal band.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, he was in both of those projects before we stole him away.
Cool.
Yeah, and then from there on in we started all writing music together. Like me, Deborah, Jamie. Deborah writes riffs sometimes on the guitar, and we end up using them. We all like pretty much write everything together, and
Yeah, it's a cool way to do it.
yeah,
Who does the lyrics?
Deborah does most of the lyrics.
A
I just have ideas.
Some of the lyrics were written by our former guitarist. Maybe some changes to them on the new release, like stuff that's on the older side.
Mhm.
But everything that's newer, I've written. But I asked them for contributions too, like, hey, what's another word for Earth? For we're fucked. Or like, what's another word for this or that? And
From
then
Mother Earth, and Jamie said Gaia.
yes,
It's
and it
really
was so
good.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we all contribute.
New albums either on the horizon or if you're listening to this out
Yeah.
Tomorrow,
tomorrow.
as of today's date.
Tomorrow. This is recorded on May 30th.
It was mixed by Ethan DeSalt and mastered by Nick Zampiarello
Okay.
from New Alliance and New Alliance East, and they're awesome. They're unbelievable.
Yes, and Bella Zepping's song, she did the tracking, all the vocal tracking, and she's awesome because she also gave me lessons. She's a Berkeley student. She's graduating from Berkeley. She gave me vocal lessons while she was doing the tracking, so
Mhm.
that was super awesome.
Yeah.
That helped me a lot too.
First off, that's Bella from Maidenhead, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that's someone I did not know. That was a woman growling.
She's the
She's
beast.
Yeah.
she's like you see her in real life. She's not huge. She's very very beautiful. Very
Yes.
well dressed. Absolute monster live.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I love her. And wonderful crossover moment because I never interviewed her, but I did interview Zach from Maidenhead, and they're
Mhm.
they're my buds. I love that. I love that group.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Anyways, what do you want to tell the audience about the new album?
So what could we tell them about the
Well,
new album?
if anyone did listen to our old stuff was like us having a lot of fun. Some of it's like stonery and doomy, but this is the stuff that we really play. It's the stuff we play live. It's it's super aggressive, sludgy, and death metal-y, and yeah, like this is what we're playing now and playing into the future, and like a little kind of maybe a little grindcore-y sometimes, and we'll probably incorporate more of that in the future, more faster stuff, a little bit faster.
Yeah, some of the stuff is on the older side, like I said, but the general theme of the album is mankind's destruction and abuse of itself, and also a lot of dark history themes. A couple songs about the Salem witch trials,
Mm-hmm.
and we have a song about one of Mike's favorite historical events. No, just kidding. It's the bloodiest war in U.S. history, and takes place in Rhode Island, and the song's called Misery Swamp.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, King
Okay.
Philip's War, King Philip
Yeah,
Metacon.
and there'll be a question about all that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
ready.
I will say that like your metal archives page needs updating because it says that like you're heavy metal / punk, and I'm like, no, they're not. I've listened to the
That's not
singles.
right.
Yeah, and I
That's
think
not-
that's probably because of our old stuff. We had some
Yeah.
like punkier stuff and like that. Yeah.
Yeah, our first EP is kind of punkish because at the time it was like our earliest stuff, and we were just like jamming to like Misfits and Anthrax and stuff like that for
Yeah.
fun. And then I think like those super like more basic punk songs on the first EP are just a result of all of that.
Yeah, and there's definitely a lot of overlap between that kind of punk and metalheads. Like
Oh,
I'm probably the only metalhead I know who like doesn't regularly listen to the Misfits. I have nothing against them. It's just like I don't sit down and think I need to listen to the Misfits.
Yeah, I mean, the Misfits, I guess they are like a weird thing that a lot of metal people like, but when I listen to the Misfits, I hear like really good, like raw punk rock,
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think it's probably
Spookiness
just
is the
because
best.
it's probably just because Glenn Danzig has done metal.
Yes, and
Yeah.
Danzig is a great metal band, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone wants to carry him around in their pocket.
Yeah.
I guess until like that controversial poster hit.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was-
yeah.
anything
I
of
saw that.
I I haven't seen any follow-up about it. I just
Yeah.
saw
So I
that,
was wondering, it's
for
like,
the people for the normal people in the audience, Glenn Danzig of the Misfits released a poster that inarguably had the Nazi black sun on it.
Yes, which I had to look up, and it looks pretty much identical to it in the
Yeah.
poster. So
I didn't
yeah.
have to look it up because unfortunately I've been in the wrong parts of the internet. And when I was no, this is a stupid one. When I was a dumb teenager, I was really into Dead Can Dance, and so I'd upload the song Black Sun and just include the Nazi Black Sun in the thumbnail, and I'm like, sick logo. Then I learned I can't. It's a good song, but I don't think it was about Nazis. I think someone was just fucking with me.
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah,
Um,
when I was a kid, I had on my computer, I had, I think it was the Dead Kennedys, that Nazi punks fuck off,
mhm.
and my stepmother kept deleting it, and she thought it was like a Nazi song, and I was like, why wouldn't she say something to me? It's like, instead of just deleting it, be like, why do you
Yeah,
have
I mean,
Nazi songs on the
I think
computer?
the title kind of gives it away. They
Yeah.
clearly don't want the Nazi punks there.
Yeah. I kept re-downloading it until finally she realized what it was.
I liked the new album. It's really it's really raw and sludgy in a way that like I that's what my summer needs to sound like.
Yeah.
No, I
Yeah,
looked
them
at the
sounds
fork.
of summer.
Yeah, sludge summer.
Right.
And also I was talking to a friend of mine who's originally from the South, and we agreed that like sludge metal is the most American metal.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. It's and it's really good, and I think it's misinterpreted a lot as like super slow, where it's not super slow. It's fast enough to be really aggressive and
Yeah.
heavy.
The
It
hardcore punk influence really
yeah.
shines through. And yeah, just both on the album and in the genre in
Oh,
general. I think
yes.
like, I think, I think it's easy to like cherry pick sludge that like really wants to take influence from like drone and
Right.
and like really lean into the doom metal side. It's just like, that's cool. I love Primitive Man and all, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
same.
But yeah,
Um,
yeah, like the sludge that's I agree with you completely. Like I think the hardcore influence in sludge is what I like about it. It's like what makes it so fun, and like the first sludge band I heard when I was a kid, it was like the first like non-local really heavy band that wasn't mainstream that I heard was Buzz Oven, and
interesting.
it blew me away. I was like really young, and my stepbrother had a box of CDs because he knew some DJ, and he's like, "Yeah, take what you want." And it was just a cool picture of like it looked like Jesus or something, and half his face was a wolf, and there was like a knife in the middle of his head, and all this trippy stuff. And
that's how you get the kids.
yeah,
They
Yeah.
reel in the
I
teens.
guess it's how it got me. I was probably like 12 or 13 years old, and I was like, "This is yeah." And I grabbed that in this band, Butt Trumpet, which in Butt Trumpet, I revisited that, and I actually found the song Blind. That's like the rest of it's all punk rock, but this one song Blind by Butt Trumpet is like a really good sludge song on the album.
I'm looking that up.
But Buzz Oven is like, I never stopped liking them since I was a kid. I was always obsessed with them. I love them.
Yeah,
But yeah,
pretty good entry point
Dystopia.
for the genre.
yeah,
Because for me, I did not take any intermediate steps. Just discovered I hate God one day.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
and to me, that's the most American music because it's all about it's all about nihilism and drugs.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. And
Yeah,
yeah, but Buzz Oven as well, right?
I tease this. There's a good deal of Massachusetts and New England folklore involved.
Yeah,
Yes.
Um,
yeah.
I don't know anything about the bloodiest war. Can you enlighten me in the audience?
Yeah, it's King Philip's War. It's the bloodiest war in America, like per capita. So the most
Okay.
people died that lived here when they lived here. So it was King Philip's War. King Philip was Metacomet. He was Massasoit's son. And
Okay.
Massasoit is the guy on the Massachusetts flag. He was like a
Mhm.
really peaceful guy with the colonists. And King Philip decided when Massasoit died, King Philip took over, his son, and he decided that he didn't really like them encroaching over and over in their land. So he's like, you have to stop. And basically it escalated, and they started doing, the colonists and the natives started doing night raids on each other and just killing everyone in a village. And it was like a super scary, wild, like, war.
There was something about when I was looking up information on it for lyrical inspiration, there was something about there was an eclipse, a lunar eclipse, one of the nights that they were coming in to invade. And I want to say, I can't remember which side it was, so I'm gonna fuck this story up. But either way, the natives, I think what they did is they went out on their canoes into the water because they knew it would be pitch black. Because basically they wanted to invade their village, and they thought, oh, we'll do it when it's like really dark. They won't see it coming, literally. But then they went out on their canoes. I hope I didn't fuck that story up. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. So there's some lyrics connected to that.
Right. And Misery Swamp is the swamp that King Philip got shot in the back by a native that converted to Christianity that didn't like him because the native that converted, his brother, was suspected to be a traitor and got killed. So he killed King Philip and shot him in the back. And that's how the war ended and dwindled out, was after he got killed.
This is really fucked up. There's a little place downtown Plymouth along the waterfront, which I had been to so many times throughout my life, like just in that general area. And it's where and there's a little plaque there and a tree and a little, I think a bench or something. And that's where, so they drew him and quartered him and put his
head on
a pole, and they left the pole in that little, it's like a little square. It's like almost like there's a church, and then you can drive up and like loop around to go in the other direction on the main road. And there's just this little green patch in the middle. And that's where his head was there for like 2 decades or something crazy.
Yeah.
They just left it there as like a fear tactic. It's like super fucked up.
Yeah.
I love this place. Do you know what the per capita death toll was off the top of your head? Or
I don't off the
It's
top of
just-
my head. I'm
just-
sure it's on like Wikipedia or something. You can look it up.
I'm going to.
Oh yeah. Yeah. King Philip's War. Yeah.
That lasted 3 years. Like you made it sound like it was a bit of a flash in the pan.
Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. And the town I grew up in, Rainham, was protected by Metacom, King Philip's army,
Mhm.
because a prominent family there sold the natives tons of guns in the years prior. So he said, you don't have to worry about night raids here. So Rainham was unaffected during the war, where I grew up, which is in the middle of the Bridgewater Triangle, Rainham.
What is the
Which
Bridgewater Triangle?
Leads us into conversations
Yes.
about puckwudgies.
Yeah, it's a weird area, and a lot of weird things happen there. There was people killed, weird satanic things. There was a satanic pimp cult from Fall River that killed people. There's a whole documentary on it. It's wild. It's this guy and this girl were both pimps, and they were the most sadistic, wild people in the world, and they killed a bunch of people in Freetown State Forest, which is in Bridgewater Triangle as well.
What are the bounds of the Bridgewater Triangle? I do need a little help here.
So the bounds are it's tough for me to say it out loud. There is maps of them.
Okay.
It goes beyond Middleborough, definitely not close to Brockton, so it doesn't even go up that far.
Okay.
Hockomock Swamp area is a big part of it. I think Rochester, Mass is like the lowest part, and I'm not sure what the highest part. I know where I grew up was almost dead center in Rainham.
Okay, so I see it on the map. That's real south. It's like a shadow over Taunton.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it might go up to like Easton, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A little bit of Easton.
Probably Easton, yeah.
There's a story about a moss man that my dad told me growing up, which is really funny because no one else knows what that is.
And like he wasn't making it up just to fuck with you.
I don't think so. I don't know. Who knows with him?
Yeah, a lot of animal reports, and there was a dog supposedly that was ripping apart cattle. A gigantic dog was
What was
supposedly
his
like red
name?
eyes. I don't know.
Did he
Well,
have a name?
no, that was the other dogs I looked up, but
Oh yeah,
what I
Mike.
thought of.
Mike is an encyclopedia of demonic folklore dog.
Well, we made a song a long time ago about ghost dogs.
You can actually find that on our first EP.
Which song is it?
Don't look it up.
It's called Ghost Dog.
Don't
It's like a silly, it's like a rock and rolly song.
That's fine. That's fine. You sometimes need that. The dog, like the dog that rips apart cattle. That it makes me think about like there's that factoid about the chupacabra where it's very recent
Yes.
folklore.
Yeah.
So it's cool that there's something way older.
Right. Well, it's not super old. The
Oh,
the
it's not super
dogs
old.
ripping apart the cattle. I probably the 70s.
Yeah, but chupacabra's like 97, so
Oh,
we beat them
okay.
to the
Really?
punch.
Wow. I didn't
Yeah, I
realize
won't.
that.
It's one of those things that people are like, no way, my abuela would talk about it, and like no one
Wait,
can
what is a
corroborate.
chupacabra again?
It's like a Mexican goat eating monster.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, that one has to go a little smaller.
There's a lot
So
of talk about these types of creatures in Portland, Oregon. When I was there, that was like, that's their thing in the Pacific Northwest.
do you remember anything
Bigfoot.
about
Oh,
it? Because I do have family out there, but they're a lot more Catholic and straight-laced. They don't tell me about the legends.
yeah.
Not the fun stuff.
No. Yeah, what do you remember anything from that?
I know I have a bracelet with the Loch Ness Monster and Bigfoot that I got when I was there. They put that shit on everything.
Yeah, I guess Bigfoot, that's the Pacific Northwest. Loch Ness Monster, get out of here.
I know, isn't that? Where is that?
That's like
Michigan?
Scotland.
Oh, Michigan. Like,
The Lake
definitely hangs out in
Michigan,
Michigan.
the Lake Michigan monster. I hope there's one. I hope there's a lake.
Puckwudgies are really cool too.
What are
We
those?
Yes.
love puckwudgies.
Yes. In Puckwudgie, the only Puckwudgie sighting ever was in my town. And
Okay.
my sister actually dated the the guy's son when we were like young, like when she was in high school or whatever. And this guy like he said he saw a Puckwudgie walking his dog, which I knew the dog. I played with the dog. So
But what's
It's
the
on the
Puckwudgie?
Bridgewater Triangle documentary, which if you haven't seen, then you need to see it.
Cool.
I never
But what's a Puckwudgie?
it's like it's supposed to be a small, like furry type of humanoid type of creature.
Okay.
Maybe like
Mischievous.
a homunculus type looking creature. I don't know.
They're furry and mischievous.
And they have poison
Deviant.
darts and they're shapeshifters and they're just bad. Everything they do is bad. There's nothing good that comes from. They're kind of like demons. They can't help
Okay.
you in any way.
And
Okay.
they're real. That's the thing. He said he saw him under a street light when he was walking his dog,
Yes.
and he said, "He wants you.
Yeah.
He wants you."
Yeah. This is all documented.
It's all in the documentary.
Yeah.
You gotta watch it.
So which documentary is this? I link to a lot of stuff in the podcast
it's-
description.
So this is like a Bridgewater Triangle
Mhm.
documentary. It's mostly like kind of silly. It's like
Very silly.
yeah, it's just funny. It's for comedic value. But the Fall River documentary, that's a really good one to look up. It's just called Fall River. And it's
Okay,
about
because
the-
Fall
That's like
River.
an HBO series or something.
it's about
or show
the
series.
satanic pimps and the wilds.
Yeah, the satanic pimp thing. That's a bit crazy.
It's real. It's super scary. It happened like in the 80s, I think. And it was like this lady, Robin Murphy, and this guy, Charles Drew. And it's like really, they were like sadistic. They like cut people's heads off. People went to the cops, told on them, and still got killed. It was like in the movies. The cops like, there's nothing I can do. And then they just got killed that day.
So it's like a reverse satanic panic.
Yes, because they actually were like saying they were satanic, but I think they were using it as a fear tactic
Yeah,
tool, you know.
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, like I take claims of Satanism with a grain of salt, but like if you're getting killed, who the fuck
Right.
cares?
And they're both
About
still alive.
semantics. Oh my,
Yeah.
in prison, I hope.
Yes, in prison. Yeah.
That is wild. Not good for
No.
a bunch of people.
No, yeah, not good at all.
So I it's like there's a lot of stuff that like even normal Massachusetts people wouldn't know
So
about like southern Massachusetts, because like if you ask people about Massachusetts lore, they're just gonna talk about the witch trials and
right.
Lizzie Borden.
Yeah.
I
And
want to go to the Lizzie Borden house. I haven't done that yet.
I think you should record a song there.
What'd you say?
You should record a song there.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you can rent the whole house too. I know that a podcast I listened to, they did that and they like rented it out and did all like the ghost stuff
Oh wait,
there.
no, you should do a basement show there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We wanted to take band pictures in front of the house that was Ghost House. The movie was filmed at. It's one of our favorite B horror movies, and it's filmed all in Situate in
Wait,
Hull.
isn't it Cohasset?
A cat, and I don't know. I thought it was Situate, but I'm not sure.
I
Yeah.
think that house might, well, I think the house is in Cohasset
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. And is it like an art gallery or something
I think
now?
it's an art gallery now. Yeah.
Yeah, one
And
day we'll get pictures in front of there.
yeah,
That's a really interesting movie if you haven't seen it. It's
No, I
really
really
good.
haven't.
babes.
Really good
I'm
movie.
just gonna be linking to like torrent sites.
You don't have to. It's like free on Tubi and all
Oh,
those
even
things.
better.
Yeah.
I will say, like,
Tubi,
Tubi-
lots of Tubi links in this.
Yeah,
one.
Tubi's actually Tubi's kind of great for like
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
the
Kind of
the
all I
lower
watch.
yeah, for those like kind of lower budget horror documentaries, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
it
even my
is.
mom had a phase of watching those just because like it's
Awesome.
free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used
And-
to
And
watch
okay,
some,
I
not
think
Tubi stuff, but go
I
ahead.
think it's really funny like when you can recognize where a sample comes from.
Oh
one of
yeah.
those.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this is driving me crazy and I'm gonna post it online somehow and try to get people's feedback because it's sorority sisters in the Bolorama of what is it?
This slime bolorama.
Slime Bolorama, something like that. And Linnea Quigley says, she's I don't know, okay, cool. It's like something really short. It's like 2 words. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to figure that out. Like when you just hear that certain tone and you know, like I've heard it 100 times,
In a song.
but I don't know what song it's from.
Yeah.
Or even I feel like it might be a production company or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is this a
Yeah.
lost media hunt?
It's a hunt.
Samples are the best. B horror movie samples, like we love putting them in our albums, and just every album, like every song that has like an awesome B horror movie sample just always fits good for me.
Our
Yeah.
favorite now is in the song You Will Be Silent, and it's some movie, some low budget movie, witch trial movie, and he says "Spake brava." It's like Puritans speaking to each other in like some court. "Spake brava," and then he says, "She lives in the woods. They say she lives in the woods alone. They say she has many husbands." And we quote it all the time when we're rehearsing.
It's just like about your polyamorous friend. Like I'm sure I know someone like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think
awesome.
the most surreal one for me is when my mom was on her Tubi binge. She's not like a horror movie watcher, but she watched documentaries and she was watching one about Cropsy, the
Oh.
the
Yes,
Staten
that one
Island
is so
asylum
fucked
monster.
up.
It's a great documentary, but I heard it and I'm like, wait, from the Have a Nice Life song.
Yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking
And like
about.
they used
Yeah.
the same sample. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh wow.
And I tried to tell my mom. I don't think she didn't understand. She doesn't care about this stuff.
I
She watches the
recently
podcast, so she'll be like,
Yeah,
honey,
Mom,
what the
what's
hell
your
are you
mom's
talking-"
name?
Patricia.
Patricia, what's up?
So I've grilled you about your favorite stuff about Massachusetts folklore, but what's your favorite stuff about Massachusetts music?
Go for it,
Yeah,
Mike.
I mean, Massachusetts music to me, there's just the extreme music, like the especially stuff from the 80s and 90s that I loved, like Drop Dead, Disrupt. Um, bands like those were like bands I listened to since I was a kid. Well, Drop Dead's Rhode Island, but they're bands I listened to since I was a kid. And obviously the whole Boston hardcore scene, Al Burrell just passed away.
Hmm.
SSD was something that I loved since I was a kid. I was still late to the show. I mean, I'm 40 years old and I'm still late for SSD, when they first came around. But and then through there, just growing up, like Slapshot, all those bands, all those old hardcore bands, Negative Effects, that all those bands are super influential to other bands, I think, all over the world, really. And that's a lot of that stuff. Boston music to me is super like important to me. Like all the heavy and punk rock and hardcore stuff.
Oh, me.
Yeah.
Who, me? Um, I am really happy that we started playing out live because I've made so many friends that I definitely wouldn't have otherwise. Every time I go to a show before playing out, I mean, still sometimes I'm still like this, but I just like hide in a corner, like walk a block away to smoke and like just avoid people at all costs. And now through playing shows, I feel like I've have friends when I go to shows, which is really cool. Um, and a different experience. And yeah, since the beginning, since we started playing out, people have been so supportive of us. Between like people giving us names of who book certain venues so that we could put a show together. Like that's super appreciated. Um, when before we started playing out, we met Shane from the Liquid Light show,
Hmm.
and he put us on. When he started to book his own shows, he put us on the second bill, and
With C and Coma Hole
C and Coma Hole and
and
Ballast,
Ballast.
and that was basically our first show, which is crazy.
That would have
And
been like 2021, 2022 or something.
it was 2023
Oh,
actually.
I was trying to like, because I've interviewed Shane, I was trying to like put together his timeline in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think he was doing stuff before that, but it was when
Yeah.
he like had a couple of bigger shows.
Okay.
I think he had the first one at the Middle East Upstairs, which was awesome. It was so much fun. And
Hmm.
Yeah.
then the next one was at O'Brien's that we played. And yeah, it's just been really fun and awesome to meet people. Like it's also really funny. Like I was listening to the Tears podcast
Hmm.
recently because I'm like, oh, we're going to be on. Make sure I'm well versed in your style. So I was like texting with Mike and then I'm listening to the podcast and I was like, oh, this is like, I know so many cool people. Like I just like, I don't know. I don't know. It's cool to have so many talented friends.
Yeah. And that's when you said like music in Boston, I guess I just kind of thought of like all the bigger stuff. But yeah, like I mean the scene right now, I think right here is like a really good scene for heavy metal. I think hardcore gets talked about much more commonly
Hmm.
in Boston, and the hardcore scene's really great here, but I think heavy metal is starting to kind of push a little more and get a little more space for itself here in
Yeah.
Boston.
Yeah, because for a while I thought there just wasn't tons of metal to be found here because I would hear a lot about hardcore and, good for
Yeah,
them, but there's only so much I can do with that.
right.
Um,
It also seems like it's growing to be a more inclusive crowd, slowly,
yes.
but seems to be working in that direction, which is good.
Yeah, like I noticed a difference like even between like, 2018, 2019, long hiatus for me from going to live shows and then coming back last year. Like it's nice to see as I see people who aren't just white guys my age.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And like much love to all those, but
Yeah,
like
no,
I
it is. It's super awesome seeing and being in a scene that's like that. And I think in general, punk rock and metal are generally like that, but I think Boston has a really good scene
Mhm.
for like being inclusive and for just more people coming out that are different. and coming out and seeing shows. I think
Hmm.
it's a good scene here.
Yeah. I also I was shocked to find like so many bands here that do want to like push the envelope of how metal can sound.
Yeah. Yes.
Like I think,
Definitely.
yeah, like there's nothing wrong with wanting to like stick to what the genre's been for whatever you're playing, but
Hmm.
it's like see, I I saw C live a couple weeks ago in Rhode Island, and I brought this friend of mine who's like not a metalhead at all, and he had no idea what to expect, and he's like they're really good. I didn't think metal could sound like that.
That's
Yeah.
Like kind of
awesome.
like post metal, sludgy,
We love them.
They got.
atmospheric sound. Getting to hear some of Liz's screams, my favorite part.
Yes.
My dad, I took a video of that. My dad was like, didn't expect that from her because like
Her vocals are
he just knew
so
about
good.
Liz. He just knew about Liz from the podcast. She's very soft spoken in real life
Hmm.
and over the mic. It's just like, yeah, you don't expect it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like her and Mike from Tears. Like
Yes, so like mesmerizing.
it's just like how is this person gonna sound? And they open their mouth. It's like, oh my god.
When I first saw Tears, I walked up at the end of their set and talked to Mike and was like, "We need to play a show together." Like
Yes.
immediately. Yeah.
No, I just annoyed all of them at the merch table. Or no, my favorite one is like first met Tears in like late October. It was 2 days before Boris's show at the Paradise that year. And then I just randomly saw Mike and Mandy at that show, and I was just being an annoying fangirl. And little did probably any of us know it, we'd all be really good friends.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But they're probably just like, what's this chick doing?
Yeah, we made a lot of good friends. Tears, I feel like we made good friends with. Zero Survive, we've made good friends with all of them.
We love
And
them.
Blast Shield, they're our buds, and they
Hmm.
just got going again. Their drummer left, and they got a new drummer. And Blast Shield is just a great, awesome, like grindy power violence band. That's
Yeah.
awesome band.
And they
Yeah.
push the boundaries too because their new release has some
Yes,
more like dissonant stuff, which is really
and
cool.
sludgy. They have
Yes.
a song
Ooh.
called Boat Burner that's really sludgy, and it's really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll have to check them out
Yeah.
because like I like grindcore. I will be the first to say that it can get very repetitive.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and these guys aren't. They're really awesome,
Yeah.
and they're great to see live. And hopefully we'll be
Hmm.
playing shows with them coming up this year.
Yeah, here
Yeah.
in the fall, we're gonna
Yeah,
play with them.
yeah. So
Yeah.
they're our favorite. They're well, all those guys are our favorites. All those bands are. They're just this whole scene has been super friendly and helpful and supportive. For sure.
Yeah. Do you have any other grindcore picks from the area? Because I feel like I have a decent grindcore scene, and like I just never interact with it. Besides Zero Survive, because I was friends with Jake already.
Yeah, I mean, so we've played with Blast Shield, Zero Survive, Horrible Earth. They're all really good.
Burrito
Horrible
Bowl.
Earth are good.
Yeah,
Burrito
Burrito
Bowls.
Bowl. They're from New York. They're our
Okay.
buddies, and they're really good. They're just a great band. And I'm trying to think of other grindcore bands that we try to play with grindcore bands. We love playing
Yeah, we
with
love to
grindcore.
put together a sludge and grind bill. I
Yeah,
feel like that
Yeah.
goes really well together.
Sort of like the opposite siblings. We still really
yeah,
get along.
yeah,
Yeah, and then we like listen to bands like Disrupt if you were like and it
Hmm.
has that crust element. If you like slowed that down, like I don't know, a lot of like the simplicity of some of that music can carry over for sure.
yeah, yep.
I think grind and sludge have a very I feel like they have a similar ethos in a
Yes,
way.
yeah, they do, and they're both I think can be similarly raw and
Hmm.
aggressive. If you're listening to the right kind of sludge,
Yeah.
it can be extra aggressive,
No,
just like
there is no right kind, but
yeah,
It's all
the kind.
it's all good. I don't want to drown in it. I love having met people in the Boston metal scene because like once you have enough friends, it's so easy. You're welcome everywhere. Like you always have someone to talk to.
Yeah.
Getting those friends in those first like 10 shows you're going to alone, it's hell.
Yeah.
It's so awkward.
Now, when I was a kid, and this isn't a dig because I love hardcore music, but when I was a kid, I went to hardcore shows and they were never like, it's a lot tougher to crack the shell in
Hmm.
a scene like that. For me, when I was younger, in like the late 90s and early 2000s,
Yeah,
it's
when
like I'd go
dinosaurs
to a
roamed
show
the earth.
alone. Yeah. I go to a show alone and just I wouldn't end up talking to anybody. I just watch the bands and then
Hmm.
leave a lot, unless I went with a friend, but typically it kids were it was a little more clicky, I guess. And I feel like these metal shows now people are kind of like more open to confront you and talk to you if you're just standing around.
Yeah.
And
Part
I
of that
also,
too could be like social awkwardness. Like
mhm.
yeah.
if it's you get all the most awkward people
Yeah.
together and like no one wants to talk to each other, then that's cool too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think also with metal, at least right now, quite a few of us are older.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
That
Like,
helps.
I'm a lot younger than you guys, but I'm a lot older than your average hardcore kid.
Yep. And yeah, I when I did go to those hardcore shows was when I was at my brutally most socially awkward stage in life for sure.
I hope that encourages someone to just take the plunge and
Yeah.
say hi to someone who looks cool enough.
Yeah. Yeah. I was
Or
like
just say
scared to do
great
that.
show, guys.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Great set. That's something that like I would even be scared to do when I was a kid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
same.
getting the courage to do that was that changed me. I think the first local band I gathered the courage to say good set to was Morged.
Oh,
Because
okay, yeah.
Mhm.
it was last year when they opened for Tomb Mold. And
Yes,
Yeah.
like
I was
they
at that
and like
show.
I think everyone was. That was a great one.
That was so much fun.
Yeah.
I love
Um
Tomb Mold.
I love Horrendous. Horrendous. They were the middle band. One of my
Okay,
favorite death
yeah.
metal bands of all time. I was mostly there for them, but I'm like, yeah, Tomb Mold. Good shit.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
Morged were great. And
Yeah, they're awesome.
I real like I was up front and I'm like, I'd be wasting my spot here if I didn't say like, a great set, cool shirt, love the merch. Yeah. No, they're all nice. And like the worst that happens is you blow it, you're awkward, you say the wrong thing, they'll probably forget you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you
Done
meet
that
so
many
many you meet
times.
so many people, you're just like, just like it's just
Right.
like a blip in the radar.
Yeah. I have no shame about I've been in so many awkward situations like
Hmm.
that. I have absolutely no shame about that. And I think that's how you kind of round out as a person and stop being as socially awkward if you don't care as much.
So this is something you said one of you said in our messages jokingly, you're like, oh, you can ask us how to enter the spirit realm.
That was
And you
great.
know what? You know what? I was curious.
The veil is thin, and that is part of how you enter. But I don't know if you can come out because you're gonna be like a whole ritual to pull someone out of that veil, and yeah,
Have you gotten close?
not close enough.
Okay.
It's definitely in the Hockomock swamp,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
in this middle of the swamp.
Yeah.
There are little lights that take you there. They're little the what are they called? The glowing lights that are like it's some kind of phenomenon, right? Like they see them all over the world. People report. I think a lot in
Yeah.
the Andes Mountains.
Yeah, and
There's
just
like
everywhere.
I don't know if they necessarily always lure people places, but that's part of it, I think.
Glowing
Yeah.
balls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, until recently, I didn't know the Hockomock Swamp was real. I really don't spend a lot of time in Southern Mass. I just knew of
Yeah.
Screams of Hockomock, and I'm like, okay, that band exists,
Yeah. Yep.
Mhm.
and it's an endlessly interesting place.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Hockomock, Freetown State Forest. There's a lot of weird
Hmm.
history to all of them.
Well, we have a record release show coming up. If, I'm sure that's on your list of things to talk about.
Yeah, I
And
had
if we're not
like a
jumping the
vague
gun.
future plans question, but I know
Yeah.
that your record release show, it's on June 28th. Unfortunately, it has to compete with like 10 other events
Yes, I know. It's
because
tough. And a lot of them are our
Let's
friends.
not talk about those other events on
I
this
know.
podcast.
They're all a lot of them are our friends too, and it's just how it ends up sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, it's
Yes.
not part of the Bridgewater Triangle, but part of the Blue Hills is next to the Widowmaker Brewery,
Yeah.
Yep.
where our record release show is going to be. We're just trying to lead in there a little bit. Um, so we're playing with Mother Iron Horse
Mhm.
and Vi Queen, our buddies from Portland, and it's going to be wild because they're like really high energy, like in the crowd, spitting beer, wild bitches, and Mother Iron Horse are just badass, and yeah, and they're
Yeah.
gonna bring that like really doomy style. So
The-
we're playing second, so we're in the middle. Shane's gonna be there doing Liquid Lights. We
yeah.
have some surprises in store, which is really exciting. We're gonna be selling our vinyl for the first time. Black.
What does the actual like record look like?
It's black.
Oh, it's just black. I
It,
thought you'd be
yeah.
like,
It
oh
has some
yeah,
cool artwork on it
we got
too.
the
It
like the custom resin.
yeah.
No, that shit's expensive. Too
I
expensive
fi-
for our budget.
and
yeah,
and the
I feared that.
and it's kind of silly that I even like saw it, but they said that maybe like that black records like sound better or
Yeah,
last
there's a
longer.
different
I
sound
can
quality,
imagine.
which is
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah. We learned a lot about vinyl in this process and a lot that I did not know.
Yeah, I can imagine it would last longer because like my dad was selling some vinyl of his from his collection, and like that stuff's been stored in a moldy basement for a while, and it's still, it still sounded fine,
Yep.
or at
Yep.
least was sellable.
Yep.
Um, it will be interesting to see how everyone's like clear purple albums age.
Right. Right.
Definitely. Yeah, because that's a newer thing, right?
You
Yeah.
don't see it too often in
I
old
don't think the old
records.
records are
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a vinyl revolution, vinyl renaissance kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Mm.
The
Yeah, we
stuff
have a good
that kind of
collection
makes it a
upstairs.
commodity, for better or for worse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been interesting seeing how the physical media markets come back, but in a kind of a gross capitalistic way too. As you say,
Yeah.
this is someone who loves collecting cassettes
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
because
Yeah.
they're smaller.
Yeah.
I live in a
Yes.
pretty small apartment, so like I am not gonna get milk crates full of vinyl. I'm also
Yeah.
not made of that kind of money.
You're right.
Mm-mm.
Right. I mean, I get used ones all the time. Like you said, that there's some pretty reliable ones, and at the record stores, sometimes I buy like $2 ones just to see how they sound, and sometimes you get lucky.
Yeah, no, that's just really cool, and that is what I miss about like having a Newberry Comics nearby that actually like focused on music,
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
Yeah.
they would actually have some interesting like bargain bin stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
And
don't,
now like you
I don't know
go
how
in
much they have
there,
now.
they don't. Like they'll have some vinyl, but
Mm.
like it's all very curated.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. There's one not too far from here and they have like one or two sections that are sale, I think, but they're really small.
Yeah, like they finally
And
went back
yeah,
to
they're
being a
pretty
comic
expensive.
store.
You get the more you shop for vinyl, the more you realize like when you go to a place like that, like things are marked like retail price. When you
Hmm.
go to
Yeah.
a local record store, you act like paying $10, $15 for a cool, like you find something really cool for that price.
Yeah, if I had, well, for one, a record player, but also just like more time, I'd spend all day inside of Looney Tunes in Alston.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what my thought was when
Looney Tunes,
saying
great.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Your Ear is another good one.
Yeah. I will say like Looney Tunes is like I'm not a huge person, but I feel so body shamed by that store
Yeah.
because it's so
Yeah.
narrow.
It's
Have you
tight. Yeah.
did you ever go to that store before it was Looney Tunes?
No.
Oh, it was so interesting. They had like cool vintage stuff and like obscure art and yeah, I
That would have
forget the
been
name of it,
cool.
but
No, I've
it
only
was a
been
cool
to
spot
Looney
before.
Tunes. Um, very, very cool spot though.
Yeah, I've
In
got some cool records there. Journey Through Hell or whatever. It's like all like
oh,
orchestral.
something quintet.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was cool.
Yeah, I think I found myself just looking at their world music section one day, and I'm like, that's an interesting thing to have a pretty decent collection of.
Yeah, definitely. Find some cool stuff.
In Cambridge and in Providence, there's
Hmm.
a really good record store called Armageddon,
Love that.
which I
Hmm.
believe a member of Drop Dead
Yeah, it's Ben
owns.
from Drop Dead.
Ben
Oh,
from Drop Dead. Yeah.
okay. Didn't
Okay.
know that lore, but I've been inside Armageddon Records before with my
Yep.
dad. That's how I learned that he was a little more of a punk than I thought because he was just like looking through
Oh,
all the old punk stuff. I'm like, okay.
nice. That's
And I would
awesome.
I'd look through the metal stuff obviously and then be like, well, I don't have a record player. I know they have
Mhm.
CDs, I know they have tapes. I should go back to the Cambridge or usually the Cambridge location. I go to Providence sometimes, which is funny saying like I haven't really been Southern Massachusetts. Yeah, I don't do any pit stops.
Yeah.
That area of Providence is really cool.
I just
Near Armageddon.
I just love
It's a good
Providence,
spot.
man.
You
Yeah.
ever
It's
go to Deadbeats in Providence?
no.
That's a really cool spot. They just have B horror movies playing behind the bar and like a big screen TV, and they have like a drink called Ectoplasm, and yeah, just really good vibes. They have like horror stuff, and I like it there a lot.
That's really cool. I'll have to ask my brother. He lives in Providence. I'll say Providence is like the city for horror.
So we just saw someone from what was that thing you sent me today? It was happening in Providence.
Oh yeah. So it's I somewhere in Providence, I don't know where, but it's a screening of Death Spa, which is a really cool, silly Bihar movie with the woman. I don't know her real name, but she was Hilary Banks from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and this is her first big break was on Death Spa, and she's going to be there.
Oh my God.
For the
Yeah, which
screening.
I think is really cool.
That
Hilary
is really
Banks.
cool.
I want to meet Hillary Banks.
Yeah, that's tonight. If anyone, yeah.
Is it tonight?
Oh yeah, this isn't a live podcast.
This isn't yeah.
I'll go
This
there
is
after
old.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah. This is FOMO for everyone else listening.
yeah,
You didn't go to the Death Spa
yeah,
screening.
with Hilary Banks.
Yeah. But like finding random Lovecraft themed stuff in Providence, it's so easy. It's like at all their mainstream like festivals.
Love
Yes,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
for
I
sure.
mean, not to say that Lovecraft was a great guy. I was actually a little surprised that they did not rename Lovecraft Square.
Right, right.
Yeah.
But it's just
Fucked
like,
up.
you know what? I don't think Providence has much else going for them.
Yeah,
You just ignore why he named his cat and focus on the stories until they get racist.
yeah.
Yeah, pretty fucked up.
At least
Very fucked up.
Edgar Allan Poe was better. I like him better.
Yeah, he was
He was just a drunk.
he,
He wasn't like a
he was just
total jerk.
he was just a goth.
Yeah.
Yes.
I actually that like when I read books when I was a kid, Edgar Allan Poe was like super big to me. And then I just stopped reading books. But before that, my mom got me a big book of Edgar Allan Poe stuff, and I like read them all. I like love Edgar Allan Poe. Weird.
Wasn't there isn't there some bar somewhere that it
The
like
Worthing Attic maybe in Lowell. Does that have something to do with him?
That sounds like it would.
I want to
Yeah.
say it's in Lowell. I don't know. There is some place that like is historic where he used to like hang out there, and it's still open. It's still a functioning place. I want to look up what it is.
Yeah, because Worth Attic gets metal shows,
Yes.
which is
Yeah.
so. If that's the place, that's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I've kind of wanted to play there. I've never played there. We haven't played there. Seems like a cool venue.
I googled Edgar Allan Poe restaurant Mass.
Yeah.
It came up Edgar Allan Poe statue in the theater district.
Hmm.
Worthen House Cafe.
Yeah.
That's it.
That must be it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Worth
so you're
House
right.
Cafe is yeah. Oh, Jack Kerouac was also frequented that place.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Is this the place that
The
has the
duality of
crazy-
man.
Yeah. Yeah.
This place has like some crazy like fan system. It sounds silly, but it's like I want to say this is the place that's like some really old
Jack Kerouac
retro
was
stuff.
from Lowell, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is this where the Word Than Attic is? I imagine that they're
Yeah.
connected, right? Events. Yep, home of the Word Than Attic. No wonder I know
R.I.P.
it's
Edgar Allan Poe. He would have loved doom metal.
Yes.
kind
Yeah.
of
All of his stories were just they're typically not
doom.
didn't end happy. Like most of his stories weren't happy endings, which was cool because a lot of horror stories still have happy endings. His don't.
Any other future live shows, or is it just the album release on the horizon?
We do have some other ones coming up, but we're only promoting the record release right now.
Okay.
But yeah, we have a couple other this summer. So follow us
Follow.
on
Yeah.
Instagram, follow all the stuff, Facebook, whatever you're
Can we say
into.
who we're playing with?
I don't know. We'll focus on focus on the one that's coming up.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
Cool.
couple really good ones down the line too.
Yeah.
And then the fall, we have one thing put together for the fall, but we have some space, I think, for a little bit more before the winter comes. So
Sick. Play in my living room.
Yeah.
yes, down.
Yeah, I'm on the 3rd floor. You would piss off everyone. But once again, thanks to Deb and Mike for coming on the show. Listen to the album, try to make it out to Braintree for the record release show, and look out for the puck wedgies. I don't know if I'm a believer, but Deb and Mike made a good case for it. Anyways, I'm Theo Morgan, and have a good night. Any final words?
Yeah. Well, first of all, you aren't already following Not Your River podcast, then do it.
Why are you listening?
Why are you listening if you haven't followed
How'd
yet?
you come here? How'd you get here?
How'd you get here? Turn back around and follow. And yeah, come hang out with us. Come to a show. If you want to play a show together, we're trying to get up to Maine to do some shows. Because we're a little limited with what we can do in Mass, just because we have like commitments and stuff like that. So yeah, spread the love. Bring us to your city.
Yeah.
Outlourdes for Maryland Death Fest 2026.
Yeah.
Well, they're already announcing that lineup. 2027 though. I think we can make it work.
Yeah. You got that Death Dude sludge situation going on.
I mean for
Although I know
Death
they have
Fest.
everyone play
For
there,
Death
though.
Fest, they quite a broad application of that.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what Pentagram's doing there.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
I mean-
yeah. I noticed that. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna question it,
Right.
but you
I
know,
wouldn't mind it. I would be happy with it, but yeah, it's interesting.
Thank you so much for coming on. This was
Yes,
great.
it's
Yeah,
fun.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are the coolest.
You're the coolest.
I guess so. Album of the year.
Yes.
Maybe. We'll see. There's a lot of good. There's a lot of good stuff.
We'll take
I
anywhere
want-
in
no,
that range.
you know what
it
I-
could be
you know what I
20th
lo-
if you want.
You know what I love to
whatever.
do? Like, I like to go on the Metal Archives forum at the end of the year because they have like a big, everyone submit your top 10s and we'll see who gets voted the most. And I was looking through it last year and like, I was specifically looking for Massachusetts bands and Black Pyramid was on there like several times.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well
And-
deserved.
Yeah, it was
Yep.
either them or like some people picked Black Pyramid. Great album. Some people picked Change to the Bottom of the Ocean.
Yes.
Yep.
Also a
Killer.
great album.
Yes. We love them.
Yeah. Killer band. Both of them are killer bands. Chained and Black Pyramid.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be looking for, I think one that I know is probably gonna get there a lot is Ancient Death because I've been seeing a
Mm.
lot of hype for
Yep.
them just from like random people, not just friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I'm
Really.
gonna like
We've
I
gotta
want
get
to
to
look.
see
I
them.
want to look for everyone I'm aware of. When it's December, and I'll probably just submit my top 10, and it will be some disgusting mishmash. But this one was really good.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm
Mhm.
super appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah. Put on some sunscreen. Just because it's sludge summer doesn't mean you get to skimp on that.
Blood
Oh.
summer, baby.
I stay out of the sun.
Yeah. Get a cool hat.
Yeah.
Yes, he's the master of cool hats.
Yeah.
Me, not so much.
I just got some precancers frozen off my face.
Oh,
I'm
stay in good.
Irish, and that's just part of. I
He's
roofed for a
doesn't wear
while.
sunscreen,
Well,
so
I don't go in the sun, and this is from previous. I used to do roofing and stuff, and
Oh,
now I
yeah,
don't. I stay out.
the fact that it was just pre-cancer is pretty lucky.
Yes, yeah, and I did have one that was that it's the non-melanoma kind, and it's almost like a 1%. Doesn't get of anything spreading, and I just had it cut out, and it was super simple and easy.
Yeah.
But it's something that runs in my family, and it's not too big a deal.
So you end the podcast saying, check that weird mole.
Yes,
What's the
yeah.
worst that can happen?
Yes, definitely.
cut that.